Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show. I'll have some announcements and a recap, but before any of that, we'll start off with a quick round of player introductions. Nick, do you want to kick that off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nick. I'm playing Embers of White Ash, the Sun Soul Tabaxi Monk.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I play Lady Elwyn Amelos, the Elvish Circle of the Land Druid.
Hello, I'm Melissa, and I play Tuppence Wiseacre, who is a Court of the Sky pixie bard.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Vert, the Changeling Armorer Artificer.
Thank you, everyone. So those announcements real quick. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, custom monsters, custom lineages, all of that fun stuff, so be aware of that as you're watching. The art, which you'll see all over our layout for the different characters, was drawn by a variety of artists, the information for which can be found in the description. So if you see any of those that you like, go ahead and check out the artist from the info in the description and go support them because they're all awesome. If you need a refresher on anything that's going on in the campaign, we have a campaign wiki at World Anvil. You can also check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to some Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. I should also mention, before I forget, I'll put links to these things in the description as well, but we're going into a prison that I have borrowed some stuff from a D&D adventure called Prisoner 13, and I've also borrowed some stuff, a map, from a Patreon, a map making Patreon who I support. So I'll put all of that information in the description specifically for this arc. And oh no, everyone's frozen.
Uh-oh.
We can still hear you, though, so keep going.
He just froze.
Yep, where did we freeze?
No,
we heard everything. Let's roll the intro video.
Great. No, well, the last thing I was going to say is we have a co-host. Follow us on co-host at Antiheroes. And other than that, we just hope you enjoy the show, share with your friends, and come back to watch some more. So that was slightly okay intro. And let's go ahead and roll the video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, the Silver Seekers have been planning to infiltrate Greymantle Penitentiary, which is high in the mountains of Sergil. Their goal is to find and free Basil Oranglass, Vert's father and the deposed king of Vagma, from his cell in the high-security area of the prison. All they have to do to make that happen is to first distract a dragon, steal some keystones, blend in with the guards, and avoid getting noticed by anyone who'd recognize them, while also managing to possibly free Adrex Estier, the Silvered Seneschal, who's been mysteriously incarcerated. The disguises and identities that they received from the Clouder are about to be put to the test as they enter the prison. And with that, we will dive into today's episode. Ba-dum, ba-da-dum. Before I set the scene again, I do want to do one thing though, just one little mechanic-y thing, which is that we need to see how many points you have for the I planned this flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
So the way this is going to work, and this is based on the fact that you gathered information well in advance for this heist. Where did I write down my mechanics for this? Here we go. The group of you are going to roll a group intelligence check, and based on the result of that, you'll get a certain amount of points. If it's like a bad roll, don't despair. I might reset these at certain points. I have certain things in my notes that would trigger a reset for these, so you can kind of get a top off on your points. So if it's a bad roll, don't despair. You just might have to be a little sparing for a little while. With these points, if something comes up and you want to say, wait, and kind of introduce something, you'll have the opportunity to spend a point to initiate a flashback and establish sort of how you prepared for the situation. You won't be able to necessarily change things that have been established in the scene. So, for example, if you come around a corner and I say you come face to face with 3 guards, your flashback won't be able to change the number of guards or the fact that you've come face to face with those guards. But you can say, based on this flashback, I have something I need to deal with this situation. Some things you can do with the flashbacks. For example, you could work out that you've previously bribed a guard. You could say that you've bought some gear, which you don't have on your character sheet. You could prepare different spells, etc. Your flashback might involve a roll or a spent resource. And like I said last week, if that's the case, it will come out of your resources that you have available at the moment. But that's pretty much the gist of it. So with all of that said, let's have each of you roll an intelligence check.
Flat. Yeah. Just flat intelligence.
Yep, just
Okay.
a d20 plus intelligence.
I'm gonna use my intelligence for this.
Nervous.
I got 23.
Okay.
Oh, man, I only got 22.
Shoot.
Wait, actually, Nick?
Yeah, actually, I got 22.
That's awesome.
Oh, snap.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so wait, hold on. I need to do some math. Oh gosh, this is already like blown way past what I expected. Okay,
We're the Smarty
gotcha.
Pants team, so, you know.
How did Elwyn do?
16.
Okay, so that is okay, gotcha. And then Tuppence?
12.
12, okay. So all in all, you guys are going to have 14 of these points to spend. So I don't think there's going to be any need to reset these.
Wait,
Oh, man.
Tuppence, did you add half your proficiency modifier?
I thought it was just a straight one.
It is, but when you make an untrained
But
check,
it's
you do get to add half your modifier.
Oh,
That's true.
for bards.
Yeah.
For
So
a
it's-
jack of all trades.
okay, so then it's 13.
Okay. I did it by like the modifier standards.
Mhm.
So you would have had to hit 14 to bump your points up by 1. So you're still going to have 14 total points. 5 from Vert, 5 from Embers, 3 from Elwyn, and 1 from Tuppence. But 14 total to use as a party. So I think you're good.
Wow.
And I will make a quick way to track that here.
We planned for a lot of stuff.
And, you know, I feel like this does represent the fact that, like, you guys did do a lot of prep work before getting to this point. So
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense, that you would have a lot of preparation going into it. Okay. Now I can actually take us into this and set the scene. The group of you in your disguises, or in Tuppence's case, literally packed into a case or a crate with various food and supplies, are gliding silently across the flat, icy surface of the Grey Barrow Basin. This lake, this cold, icy lake that sits at the foot of Greymantle Penitentiary. And ahead of you, you can see looming a cliff that is probably several hundred feet tall, with this structure of wood and metal built in front of it that is this mechanical lift that looks like it will rise up from the water level to the penitentiary above. Next to the lift you can see this frozen waterfall that is cascading down off the side of the cliff, or it would be if it weren't completely solid ice, and kind of frozen in this water. You can see there are these large Metal Gear like things. Metal Gear, yeah, I heard it when I said it. That look like they would turn if not for the fact they would turn with the water if not for the fact that it was completely frozen. And atop the cliff looms this dark stone wall surrounding a tower that looks down on the town of Grey Barrow. And you can see there are like small icebergs and things floating in this lake. So anything you want to do while you're on the boats?
How many other guards are there besides us?
10, I think, is what I had said, because the guards from the train who are escorting the hooded prisoner you know to be Adrex Estier are also on some of these rowboats with you.
Are any of them, like, nervous or anything? Like, is there, like, any tension on our boat?
Roll an insight check.
Sure. I have no idea. I'm focused on the goal in hand. I rolled a 7.
Yeah, it's freezing cold and it's still early in the morning and you didn't get your coffee this morning. And you are just, it is all you can do to stay awake and warm.
I'm just going to take disadvantage on that too. I didn't get coffee. Yep. No, still a 7.
Okay.
No, I don't think I'm doing anything. Just trying to like keep to myself and act like I don't know these people.
And it's very hard for Tuppy to stay quiet in there. But she's doing it. She's doing it, folks. It is possible.
I think Elwyn's also just very focused on like remembering what her role is going to be.
Okay. Then with that, the boats make not really landfall, but basically they come up to these docks that sit alongside this platform that the lift is going to ascend from. And there's maybe 2 more guards waiting for you there, but as you get close to the wall, you can see that there are actually like archer posts all the way going up this wall, and you can kind of see, I mean, they're behind like, stone walls, but there's like archer slits in the stone wall of the cliff face, going, it looks like all the way up to the penitentiary. So there must be at least a dozen eyes on you at this point. But the 2 guards who are waiting at the foot of this place, at these docks, kind of, you see like they greet some of the returning guards with like friendly gestures and things like that, and they help them get the prisoner up and off, and they kind of set to work unloading the materials that Tuppence is in as well, and setting all of this on this big wood and metal platform, which you can see is connected to these huge chains and like steel cables and things like that. And one of them, I think would kind of go over to like a small contraption and like light a torch and then use a mirror to send a quick signal up to the penitentiary above, and you can see a signal get sent back down, and the guards kind of chatter amongst themselves about, it won't be too much longer, then we'll be back in the warm and the shelter and we won't have to deal with all of this anymore. And then there's a little bit of a lull as nothing happens for a moment. I do actually, real quick, I need one more roll from you, though, just to finish setting the scene. I just remembered we need weather. Can someone roll a d6 for me?
Yeah. I've got some d6s out because I'm a monk. It's a 3.
3. Okay. So you've got kind of a light snowfall and no wind at the moment. It's consistently frigid cold, but at least you're not getting, you don't have like snow blowing into your face sideways or anything like that. A few moments pass as you're just kind of set there shivering to yourselves. And then you see a creature appear over the edge of the cliff. I need to find a picture so that I can describe Ignis. There we go. A dragon, unlike any you've seen before, and I think bigger than anyone but Embers has seen. For Embers, this dragon is very familiar in visage. At a distance, it might appear to be a white dragon, because it has that sort of whitish, bluish coloring to it. But as it stretches its wings and kind of the light catches it a little bit more, from atop the cliff, all of you can see that its body is not actually scaled like a normal dragon's would be, but it is covered in this thick white fur. And as it rears its head atop the cliff, you can see that it even has like fur coming down from its chin in like a white beard type of thing. And it has these horns that just kind of curve back along its head, longer than most white dragons would have. And this dragon kind of peers over and it looks down at the group collected down there. And then you can see a glint of light from its shoulder. And there's a figure there who does kind of like a stabbing motion into the thing's neck. And then its neck seems to glow with orange light. And it lets out a loud roar, and pieces of the frozen waterfall crack off with just its roar, but then it opens its mouth and spews fire in a continuous jet for minutes at a time, it feels like. And this fire just melts the waterfall starting from the top, and pieces of ice begin to cascade down, and then the water begins to flow again, and all of this ice comes crashing down hundreds of feet below into the water, sending plumes of water up into the sky. And these metal gear begin to turn. I did this to myself.
You call them iron gears.
Yeah, iron gears begin to turn. And as they do, the platform that all of you are standing on rises up slowly, foot by foot, into the air. And you can begin to get a view, the same view that the penitentiary has atop the cliff, of the town of Greybarrow down below. That's it. That's the long narration.
It was awesome, though.
Yeah.
I imagine there could be like spectator boats, like like taking pictures when Ignis does that.
If you want, I can drag Ignis's token over to our launch page so that you can see it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see, where is it? Ignis, where are you? There we go. So it should be showing.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to switch to Roll20 to show the viewers.
Yep, we did.
It's pretty.
This is another Cobalt Press Tome of Beasts creature. Do you do anything while the lift is going up?
I
Well-
don't think so.
I already made my insight check, so I don't know if you'll let me. Probably don't get another one, huh?
Probably not, no.
Okay.
What were you looking for?
I just want to see if there's any tension in the group of guards, like any if I could pick out any first timers. Because Grim has a big dedication to the safety of his fellow guards, so I was going to
Great.
try and give them a little bit of encouragement, like it's okay.
I would say even with your poor roll, I'm not going to tell you any info about like how they might be feeling, but I will say Wetham Greymantle, your friend from the train, is among the guards.
Yeah, but did I know if he was a first timer or not?
No, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
so it's okay. That's fine.
I would like to do an insight check as well to determine whether or not any of them are nervous at the sight of the dragon.
Okay.
It's a 9.
A 9?
Yep.
Yeah, you're looking around and it could be just you projecting. Some of them maybe look nervous, but it's hard to tell.
Okay.
It also could, like, some of them are like shaking, but that could be cold. You don't know.
How close are we to the dragon?
Getting closer every second.
Do I feel any like weird
Hunger.
vampirism stuff going on or anything?
I'm glad you mentioned it because yes, the closer you seem to get to this dragon, the more you can feel like those fangs trying to slide out. Yeah, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable in your mouth.
Cool.
And Deniodon just does his characteristic rumble.
So speaking of Niodon, if we can take a tangent for just a second. So normally he's like a walking metal dragon, right? Like,
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought about this. I forgot to mention it to you today for some reason, but I wanted to like package him up into kind of like a lunchbox looking thing. Is that possible? To, like, make him incognito, but still have him with me?
I think the best you could do would be to sneak him in with the supplies that Tuppence is in.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably.
Couldn't have him as cute lunchbox.
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
like the Wind Nexus is not quite so malleable.
Okay. Yeah, because I was
That would've-
wondering if I had to break attunement with him and like leave him behind or not.
I think you could safely sneak him in the stuff with that's with Tuppence. And I think basically, like any of you that have very recognizable gear that you want to bring in, that would be the way you'd have to do it, pretty much.
Like my staff.
Yep.
I think I'll also do an insight check on the guards.
Okay.
And I just want to get a general sense of... Yeah. I guess I'm looking out for if any of them seem like they're not quite part of the, like, in-group yet. Like, I guess newcomers or just a little outsiders or people who are more nervous. And I also want to look to see if any of them seem like they're giving attention to me or my friends more than they should.
Sure.
They're, like, suspicious or something. Dirty 20.
30-20. Okay.
Finally rolled a 10 on an insight check.
Most of these guards, as you're looking at them, like, there's definitely awe when they see Ignis breathing her jet of fire to melt these frozen waterfalls. But it's not like the awe and fear of a first time seeing it. You think that the guards that you have with you are probably mostly veterans of Greymantle Penitentiary, and that tracks with what Vert told you Wetham had said about, like, these were the ones selected for the job to go and bring this prisoner, who's kind of a big deal. However, there is one of them, a green dragonborn, who seems to be kind of glancing over in the direction of you and Vert and Embers. I don't know if you're all standing together or separate, but this dragonborn is kind of looking over at all of you, and when he catches your eye, he kind of waves and gives a little smile.
Okay, I'll just kind of go and look away real quickly.
Yeah, he kind of gives a confused look and then goes back to chatting with the other guards.
I can get Bert's attention surreptitiously, I'll kind of nod toward the Dragonborn. Shrug.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything with that, or save it for later?
No, I
Oh
don't
my god,
think so.
take the fucking bait! Just do something.
No, I'm good with that. It's fine.
I thought you had a plan. I'm trying to help you
Okay.
with your plan.
Not with a happy-go-lucky guard. I feel like, never
You're in
mind.
the best position to
No,
make
it's okay.
friends with these people.
Yeah, maybe after the dragon thing. Yeah. All right.
Okay. The lift continues its upward climb, slow but steady, and eventually it comes to the top. And you can see now the massive steel gates of Greymantle Penitentiary are open wide. But there seems to be sort of like an inner reception courtyard with another set of iron gates. And there is a dwarven woman kind of standing between the doors, waiting for you as your lift reaches the top. Let me find my description of her. Where are you? There she is. She is clad in kind of the general garb of Greymantle Penitentiary. It's like kind of like half plate armor with these big furs and like this big gray winter cloak. But she's got the marks of a captain, it looks like. And she has with her a shield that has some dwarvish runes on it. Does anyone speak dwarvish?
Embers does, actually. I think because she was here for 20 years. Embers
That
speaks
tracks.
Dwarvish.
Just embers? Okay. The shield has 3 dwarven runes on it, and they are strength, order, and respect. And Ember's seen that you recognize the motto of the Greymantle clan and Greymantle Penitentiary. And then I just went away from the rest of my description of this woman. Gosh darn it. There she is. She's got kind of like either dark brown or black hair. It's kind of hard to tell maybe in this lighting which it is, but if it's dark brown, it's very dark, with streaks of gray in it, and it's kind of braided down her back. And she has just like a really strong build and physique. She's a little bit short, and she's got kind of like a bulbous nose to her. But she kind of strides forward to greet you and says, "Welcome, welcome. Those of you who are returning, welcome back to Greymantle Penitentiary, and those of you who are new recruits, welcome. I am Captain Ethra Greymantle, and I will be responsible for watching over your intake today." She kind of makes eye contact with the group of you who are new, and says, "For those of you first-timers, I'll have everyone form a line and bring them in one at a time into the inner area. From there, I will ask a few brief questions to ensure that everything is above board, and if everything seems in order, we can go into the prison from there." And she kind of nods to the guards who are bringing Adrix, and says, "I'll start with this crew because I want to get our new guest in and situated first and foremost. So the rest of you, please bear with me. Wait just a minute longer." And she moves towards the returning guards and kind of goes to sort them out first.
Can we see where the shipments are being brought? The supplies,
Mhm.
rather.
They came up on the platform with you, and no one initially moves to unload them from the platform. You would suspect that it will probably be the job of those veteran guards once they've gone through sort of the intake procedures to sort of move those into the prison.
We're not alone here, I would imagine.
Make
Right
a perception
now.
check.
Okay. $11.
11. Even with an 11, you can see the glint of the morning sunlight reflecting off of the armor of guards patrolling atop the wall, like the outer wall of Greymantle Penitentiary. So no, it doesn't seem like you're alone. What eyes there might be beyond that, you're not sure. The dragon seems to have taken up a position in the sky, kind of flying around the top, like the tower in the center of the penitentiary. At this distance and with that perception check, you can't tell if there's anyone situated on the back of the dragon, but yeah, those are the eyes that you see.
Okay. I was just wondering about whether we should let Teppy out now or not.
While Teppy's in the crate, she's going to cast invisibility on herself.
Okay. So if the group of you just kind of wait for your turn, eventually you do start to see those veteran guards come back and take the crates that include tuppence and your gear and start to haul that into the penitentiary itself. And I think that Captain Ethra would call who should go first? Let's see. What was Embers's disguise named?
Vale Silverblade.
There it is. The captain comes first and says, right, if it's all right with all of you, I'd like to start with Sergeant Bela Silverblade. We'll be wanting to get her up and running first, and then I'll come back for the rest of you. Sergeant, if you wouldn't mind coming with me.
Either way.
Yep, and she guides you into that sort of central courtyard area. Would you roll an Arcana check when you step in here?
Sure. Very bad.
Okay. Embers, you've been here before as a prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
But the prisoners don't necessarily go through the same sort of strict intake procedure as the staff do. You don't necessarily know anything about what that looks like, but you do see maybe some arcane runes kind of carved into the ground in this courtyard area.
Mm-hmm.
What they do, you have no idea. Okay. She kind of stands opposite you and looks in your eyes. And I need to find my notes on the intake procedure. Where did it go? There it is. And she puts her hands on her hips and she says, right then, can you state your name for me? And before you speak, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
13.
13. Okay. What do you say?
Vale Silverblade.
She nods. And she's kind of watching you closely. Good. Tell me about your purpose here in Greymantle Penitentiary.
I'm here to show my superiors that they made a mistake posting me here, to serve with distinction so I can be brought back to where I belong.
She frowns a bit, but nods and says, good, good. And if you wouldn't mind, just tell me one detail about yourself. Any detail will do. Something from your past.
I think that if you want to know about my past, why don't you ask any of these gray metals here? They can't stop talking about my past.
Would you roll an intimidation check?
No. No. The one.
Wait, who has inspiration right now?
Not
yeah.
Me. Not me. I gave it to somebody else last time I used it.
Yeah.
I thought it resets every.
Technically, I think we're supposed to keep it, but there have been a couple times we've reset it because we forgot who had it.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know that they've got it?
I've got
Melissa,
it.
you've got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, until Melissa uses it, she's got it.
Yeah.
The captain gets a very stern look on her face and says, Sergeant, that may have flown back where you came from, but you're going to have to work on your attitude here. You're not the top of the command chain here. And with an attitude like that, you won't be getting back to the top of your command chain anytime soon. Am I clear?
Understood, ma'am.
Good. Go through that door. Wait for me there, and I'll escort you to the officers' quarters when I'm done with the rest of these.
All right.
Okay. Do you wait once you're on the inside of the prison?
Yeah, I'll do what I'm told.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I'm trying to act chastened.
Then she'll bring in Grim Greymantle.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make an Arcana check as you enter the sort of courtyard
Sure
area?
can. 14.
14. You note the same runes that Embers noted. You can tell that they are of the enchantment school of magic. What they do necessarily, you're not sure.
Okay.
At a glance. But sort of the same process, she says, she kind of examines you closely and says, state your name for me, please.
Grim Greymantle.
Before you answer, can you roll a wisdom saving throw?
Sure. What is that? Nope. 18.
18. Okay. So you say Grim Greymantle?
Mm-hmm.
And she nods and says, right. Haven't seen you since you were a baby.
Been a while, Captain.
Well, she nods. Your mother doing well?
He shrugs. She's been the same for a while, I bet. I'm.
Sure. Never really knew her much. It's more your father that I got along with, as you know. But tell me a bit about your purpose in the prison.
Purpose. Well, been here a few times. Been a great honor to serve. Looking forward to it again.
Good. We can use your expertise. Always can. And then finally she says, the final test, you know what it is. I just need some detail, any detail you can share, something about your past. Or your person.
Between us, I tried braiding my beard last year. Didn't go very well.
Roll a charisma, or just like a straight charisma check.
Okay. Do I get... So I have actor. Do I get advantage?
You are playing a role. I'll give it to you, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, geez, that's 21.
Yeah, she snorts. Like, just snorts. And then she kind of gives you a serious look and says, don't go telling any of the other guards about that. They might not find it as funny as me.
Yeah, he cracks a little smile and then gets back to his stoic nature and nods.
And as she gestures towards the the door, assuming you'd be familiar, but she says, "Make your way to the guards' quarters. Your regular bunk is open. Someone will be by to give you your orders and where you'll be stationed. So make your way inside."
Thank you, Captain. And he'll walk into the door.
When you go inside, do you where do you go? You see Embers in her disguise sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm supposed to wait, right? So I'll wait.
Oh no, she actually didn't tell you to wait.
Oh, I know she said my normal bunk is there, so
Yeah.
I guess I'll just wander into the where those would be.
Okay. Well, you saw Embers's map, so you would, I think, have a pretty good idea of the layout. And I can pull you over to the prison map on Roll20 if you want. Should be loading. There you go.
Whoa.
So, Embers, you are inside here. Vert, you've just come in. Tuppence and Tuppence, actually, you're being carted basically into the storage area, which is way over here.
Can you ping where Embers and I are again? I just got it pulled up.
Oh, yep. Up here at the top.
The top. Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yep. And then Tuppence has been carted over to the storage area on kind of the west side of the prison. And Vert, based on what you know of the prison layout, the guard quarters would be over here, kind of on the east side.
Yeah, I think when Vert comes in, Embers would just say, "Hey, you, Grey Mantle.
And he'll look at Embers.
You been here before?
Yes, ma'am.
Show me where it's supposed to go."
You're supposed to wait here, right?
You wouldn't have necessarily heard that because that was
Am I
in the
supposed to-
courtyard area.
Was I supposed to wait here, or was I supposed to?
You were supposed to wait here.
Yeah,
he was
okay.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
You got different orders.
I got mixed up. Sorry.
It's okay. I also got mixed up. So yes, I'll start heading towards the guards' quarters then.
Okay.
We're all so nervous.
You start making your way there, and you come across like an iron portcullis that's set into the wall that you would have to pass. But there's a guard on the other side who kind of sees you coming, gives you a nod, and opens it up for you so that you can go in. And you kind of have to repeat the process as you follow along the hallway and come to another iron portcullis. But a guard on the other side opens it up for you. And there you're able to make your way to the guards' quarters. And we will get into more of that in a minute. Elwyn, finally, she calls for Elena Ironpot.
I look around for a second, then remember that's me. Follow her.
Can you roll for me that Arcana check as you come into the courtyard area?
Natural 20.
Okay. That is an apt roll because the spell that has been ritually cast into the floor of this courtyard is a... Oh, no, it's a
Giant
cleric
ring.
spell. It's not a
Oh, it's not a druidic.
druid. Well, anyways, you recognize it. Perhaps there's a situation where a similar thing would have been used in Alvaria. It is a permanent zone of truth spell.
Well, I have Zone of Truth on my necklace now, I think. Don't I?
You might.
I do. I thought I did. Yes, I do. Cool. Yeah, I figured.
And she, as you come in, says, "Sorry for the wait. I know it's been A long wait and it's cold out there, but past this place, warmth awaits, I assure you.
I'm no stranger to the cold.
She nods and says, you'll get along well here then. To start, state your name. And before you answer, I need that wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I don't trust any of my dice. I'll use the same one I just... Come on, baby. Okay, dirty 20. Nope,
Okay.
21.
She looks you hard in the eye and says, state your name.
I was going to ask if I could have advantage on it since I knew the spell was there, but it doesn't matter now.
If you'd failed and then made that argument, I would have given you a room. Yeah.
I'm Elena Ironpot.
Very good. And your purpose here in the prison?
Well, I'm to be the head cook, aren't I?
She nods. Yes, indeed. Last cook, left on not so glorious terms, so hope you're able to fill those shoes and then some.
Seems like a low bar.
Yeah, she kind of like gives you a acknowledging tilt of the head. You've just scored a point. And then she says, finally, a detail about your past. It can be anything.
Well, you know, I used to run my own tavern. Till it went up in flame.
I had heard that. Well, hopefully better luck here then. Very good.
Try to stay away from the fire.
The door into the prison is just there, and she points to a door that you've seen your friends go through. And she says, once into the prison, take a right, go down the hallway until you can smell the smell of foods cooking, and then you'll know you're at the kitchen. Your sous chef should be waiting for you there.
Aye.
And she kind of moves to the door, but like holds it open to let you in.
So leave.
Yep. She then follows behind you and closes the door. But she moves to then go talk to Embers.
Okay. Can I drag my feet a bit when I'm like around the corner just to kind of listen to see what they talk about to make sure Embers isn't in trouble?
Yeah. Roll a perception check and we'll just see how things go.
Sure. What's my bonus again? 9.
9. Yeah, there's a lot of sound going on in this prison. And it's a bit overwhelming because it all kind of echoes in the stone walls and stuff.
Can I have advantage because I knew about the zone of truth?
No. And finally, Tuppence, you don't actually have any trials to pass, especially since you're invisible. But you feel your box being set down and then hear the retreating sound of footsteps. You kind of look out through the little peephole that was made in the crate, and it seems like you're in a dark room all to yourself.
Okay, can I fit through one of the holes?
The crate would have been basically made so that you can pop it open from the inside.
Okay, great. And then I'll get out and try to see around what's in there.
Does Tuppence have dark vision?
I don't believe so. So, if I don't hear anything, maybe I'll cast a light.
No, don't do that. You'll lose your invisibility.
Oh, that's true. I can't do dancing lights with it. Okay. So I can't see. It's dark in the room. Oh, or just in the... Are you saying it's dark in the room or dark in the crate? So I can't
Dark in the room. It was dark in the crate and it's dark in the room.
You have a candle in your inventory. Little tiny baby pixie candle. Sorry.
It's like a birthday candle.
Light it around. I'm not really sure I want to light a candle in here yet, not knowing if I'm truly alone. So I think maybe I will fly very slowly until I can feel the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to find my way to the door.
Okay. as your eyes kind of adjust to the dark, you can't really see in the dark, but you do manage to you fly up to the ceiling, your eyes start to adjust, and you kind of look around and try and get your bearings. And there is like a little bit of light coming in under the crack of what looks like, I know on the map it's like a metal portcullis, but this one would probably just be like a heavy wooden door. And there's a little bit of light coming in under the crack of that. So you can find the door.
Okay. All right. So I'll fly down and see if I can squeeze underneath it.
Okay. Roll an acrobatics check.
Ooh, nat 20!
Okay. Yeah, you wiggle your way through, and you squeeze out onto the other side invisibly, right at the feet of another guard, who seems to be guarding the storage room, and he's picking his nose a little bit. Roll a stealth check at advantage.
Okay. Okay. 19. Stealth. So that's a 22.
Okay. Yep. You slip under the guard's legs unnoticed.
Okay. Knowing that Elwyn / Alina is a cook, I'll try to sniff my way to the kitchen.
Okay. You don't have to go terribly far because it's like the next door down the hallway to the left. You can smell the smells of food cooking wafting out from underneath another one of those like heavy wooden doors, basically. Elwyn, how long did you stick around to try and listen for embers?
Well, once it became clear that I wouldn't be able to really hear anything, then I'll continue on my way.
Okay. Then probably you would see Elwyn coming down the hall in your direction in her disguise.
Okay, so I'll fly over and land on her shoulder.
Oh. Is that you? Okay, yeah. Act normal. Act natural. I do not have a pixie on my shoulder. Nobody look at me.
Sounds like a country song. Pixie on my shoulder makes me happy. Especially an invisible one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just here if you need me.
Okay. Boy, am I glad you're here.
Elwyn, you come to the door, this sort of heavy wooden door. There's no guard posted outside this one. You can see a guard a little ways down the hallway who is wiping his hand on his trousers.
Ew.
But there's no guard posted outside the kitchen, and you can smell the smells of food wafting from underneath the door and hear the clangs of pots and pans from inside.
Okay. I'll poke my head in.
Okay. You see a human man. He's very young, probably like 19 or 20 or something like that, with kind of like red curly hair on the top of his head, and a little bit of like an attempt at a beard, an attempt at a mustache type of thing going on. And he turns around, and as soon as he sees you, he scowls. But it's like an unintentional scowl, and then he kind of like tries to correct that, but it's too late. Like his initial reaction was there, and he kind of like washes his hands in a nearby sink, dries them off, and like comes over to you and says, "I take it you're the new head chef?"
Aye.
Well, I'm Gerald Harmson. I guess I'm your sous chef.
Gerald, what? Harmson?
Harmson.
Harmson. Okay. Like he harms sons.
Yep, he harms son. The son of harm.
The son of harm. Oh boy. Like, with a name like that, I'm glad they brought me into this place where you'd be killing everyone in this whole penitentiary.
What? No. My dad's name was... Never mind. Was it Iron Pot?
Yeah. You can call me Elena, or just Elle.
Well, I'm going to call you Chef Ironpot, if it's okay.
Well, fine.
Well,
Now, what's the long faced for?
I'm in the middle of preparing the afternoon meal. Little shorthanded on my own these past few weeks, so it's too late to change the menu, though. Like, it is what it is for today. I mean, you can start making all the changes you want, I guess, after today, but...
Can I make an insight check?
Mm-hmm.
What's this dude's deal? 28.
28.
Fucking good at insight, you guys.
Yeah. Wasn't gonna
You
say
take
it,
a
but I
look
was thinking
around the kitchen. Like you let yourself bathe in kind of like the smells of the room. You look at the state of the dishes, like the cutlery that he's using, and like the way that he has prepared his kitchen. And things are like pretty neat and orderly. Like it's not a big mess. The smells of this food are good. If you had to guess, you think he wanted your job.
I think as he kind of flounders, I'll fold my arms and kind of try to stand up a little straighter, and I'll say, now listen here, son. If you and I are going to work together, I want to get one thing straight first. Just because they brought me in here as head chef doesn't mean I'm trying to take any of your work from you. Looks like you've got a fine thing going here, and I don't mean to step on any toes. Let's see how well you can pull off dinner tonight, and then we'll talk about what needs to change.
His jaw drops a little bit. Can you roll a persuasion check?
Sure. Let's do this. 17.
Okay. Yeah, his jaw, like I said, it dropped a little bit, but he kind of like picks it up after a moment, and then he kind of nods his head and says, okay, all right. Yeah. Just watch. It's gonna be great. I've got a great menu planned, really nutritionally balanced. Okay.
All right.
Are you
show
just
me
gonna
what
watch?
you're doing. No, I'll help. You need an extra set of hands, right? Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, and he kind of like sets to it with a little bit of yeah, kind of like a whole reversed attitude. And he starts to like show you around the kitchen and show you what he's doing. Tuppence, are you going to do anything?
But does Elwyn know how to cook?
That's what we're about to find out.
We are about to find that out. I mean,
no.
she was raised as a very pampered noble for 100 years, but then she's been on her own for a while. So my headcanon is that she's a decent cook. She has a good understanding of nature and medicine and herbs, but she doesn't eat meat. So, so it'll be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, the dish that he's preparing would definitely include some meat. So there's that. Just trying to... You don't have, like, proficiency with cook's utensils, do you?
I do not.
Okay.
But I do have a proficiency with an herbalism kit, which is kind of like making spices, right?
Okay, I'm picturing Teppy as being like Remy. Helping her.
Can Tuppence cook?
No, don't put that on there.
Tuppence cook?
Well, I think
That's
I would,
really funny.
you know, being from the Feywild, you know, it's going to be different, whatever she makes.
That's true. I do
You
have
could always-
proficiency in nature.
You could always help do the help action
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say is if
Yeah.
Tuppence wants to ratatouille this, you can give Elwyn advantage on just trying to decide what sort of role a cooking role would be.
Hmm.
I know, I'm saving my bardic inspirations for when we really need it, not in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
you don't have to give me a bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it a
Uh-huh.
flat D20 roll, but you can have advantage with Tuppence ratatouilleing you.
Okay.
Just a flat D20 roll, no like intelligence or wisdom or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, Let's see here. Okay. 11.
11. Okay. There are a couple times where, as you're kind of assisting this young man preparing the meal, like he gives you a funny look. Like he's looking at you sideways, and you're like just chopping vegetables, and he's like looking at your cuts, and like. Yeah, he seems to be judging you a little bit. And then like I don't know if Elwyn would like refuse to like handle the meat.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that she would try
like
to be tactful
bloody
about it and try to be
hunk of-
like, how about you do that part? Show me what you can do, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And just like avoid touching it at all costs.
Yeah, it seems like he picks up a little bit on your squeamishness. But yeah, between the two of you, you throw together a decent afternoon meal. I do have to ask though, because this preparation will probably take the full hour of invisibility. What's Tuppence's plan as her invisibility starts to run out?
Okay. She'll probably hide. It's probably dangerous, but she'll see if there's an empty pot somewhere in a corner. She'll go hide in a pot.
Okay, there's plenty of pots in here that you could hide in. Yeah.
I feel like
So
I might have apron pockets big enough for you to hide in as well.
That's also a possibility. Okay. So with that, we'll shift over, I think, to who wants to go? Embers or Vert?
I'm very curious to find out what this talk is about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Captain Ethra comes back in with Elwyn in her disguise, and it kind of sends Elwyn off down the corridor, and says, "Right, I've got to give you a tour of the prison facilities, and then take you to the officers' quarters to get your equipment and such. We'll start with the equipment, I think, and then go from there." And so she leads you to the left through that portcullis, past a big, heavy iron door that, from your previous knowledge of the prison, you know is the warden's office, to the next sort of portcullis door, through which you can see an armory filled with sort of the suits of armor and weaponry of the guards. And she takes you in, kind of, I guess would have to take some basic measurements and kind of get you a suit of sergeant's armor, which is all. I know that Embers isn't proficient necessarily with that, but
Embers is proficient in weaver's tools. I mean, measuring it's like clothing and stuff. It's what she does.
Oh no, I mean the wearing of the armor itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you might feel a bit awkward in the armor itself, but yeah, you're definitely with your weaver's tools able to do the sizing and stuff. And she kind of steps back and looks at you and says, "It's odd to say, but I thought you'd wear it better."
That I think Embers says, "Is that another crack about my fitness for duty?"
How does Embers want her to take that? Is it like a intimidation sort of thing?
No, Embers is trying to play up to the role of what she's heard.
I see.
Trying to give this woman what she expects.
I see. She shakes her head and says, No, you wouldn't be here if we thought you were unfit for duty. Trust me on that. I know you may have been told that this is a punishment, but we're hoping you can look at it as a sort of redemption, a chance to find your way back to where you ought to be. And she kind of like comes over and awkwardly puts a hand on, or well, I mean, you're in armor and kind of like wearing it awkwardly, so it won't be like on fur or anything like that, but on your shoulder, and says, "Listen, nobody here wants you to fail. All right?"
I'm sorry for being testy earlier. I know that.
She waves her hand. We deal with all types here. I've seen officers come in with worse attitudes than yours, and she gives you a smile. We'll make a good officer out of you yet. Don't you worry. And then she takes you out of this room and kind of back down the hallway that you already came through, past the kitchen where you can hear the sounds of pots and pans, and you can smell the wafting smell of the foods. And when you get sort of in front of that storage room area, she pauses to kind of give you a view of the prison yard itself. And Embers, this is a view that is familiar to you. So you can kind of like look out on this sort of like flagstone central area, which is kind of lined on all sides by these cells. And in the center of the cells, there is this tower that rises up above it all and watches over the entire prison. I will say on the map, the cells, it only shows one level of cells, but there is in front of each of these sets of cells a metal set of walkways and stairs. So there are cells stacked kind of on top of each other, rising up about 3 levels, and then the tower kind of rises up above all of that. So there are, and as you look into the cells, you can also, I think, probably begin to recognize a few people who you've seen before. Yeah, many of the prisoners have not changed. And she kind of gestures out that way and says, "This is where we keep the majority of the prisoners. Obviously, as an officer, your duties will also include our higher security prisoners. We can go over that later. I'll get you your list of duties. But before any of that, I just want to take you to the officers' quarters and give you a chance to settle in." And so she takes you further down the hall until you get to this portcullis here, and kind of guides you into what is actually a very nice interior. It's like this tiled floor area with a lot of different individual doors. So you can see that each of the officers kind of has their own bunk room. None of the rooms are big, but it's like their own space with like a desk and a chest and a decent bed. And she takes you into one of these rooms. It doesn't really matter which, so you can just move Embers into whichever one you feel like. And says, "Right, this is where you'll be living for the duration of your stay here with us. You can store your personal belongings in the chest, use the desk for any sort of reading or writing or paperwork you might need to fill out. For now, spend some time, just rest, settle in, and like I said, I'll get your list of duties later today so that you can start getting to those." But then she says, "Before you go, though, I do have one thing I need to hand to you." And she fishes into her pocket and pulls out a green gemstone that has kind of like a faint inner light. And she extends her hand with it.
Better let it be paid, isn't it?
This is not your payment. This is something you'll need to access the higher security area down below. Now, you only have a sergeant's clearance, so you'll only be able to pass into areas marked by the green security wards, but if you ever need to access the higher areas, you can speak with a lieutenant or with me, and we can arrange for that to happen. We can go over the high security area later, though. And she kind of just says, for now, take this. And like I said, settle in, spend some time in here just getting all set up, and I'll come back with some orders later.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And she gives a curt nod and turns with like a billow of the cape and walks away.
Embers immediately takes off this ill-fitting armor
Mm-hmm.
and puts it in a chest and locks it. Hopefully it locks.
It does, and there's a little key there that you can turn and then put it in your pocket.
Since she's got some privacy, just adjusts her disguise cap to make it look like she's wearing the armor.
Smart. And then Vert, when you kind of close the door on the officer's chamber, would you roll for me a d10 and we'll see who's in there at the moment? Or not the officer's chamber, sorry, just the guard's chamber.
3.
A 3. So the guard's chamber is, unlike the officer's quarters, not a private space. There are basically just bunks set out along the walls. It looks like there is like one chest to each bunk. So there's probably one of those that you can put personal stuff into. Most of the bunks look like they are taken, but there is one that looks like it's been made up nicely. The chest is open, and there's probably a basic set of guard equipment in there, as well as no, I guess that would be it, just like a basic set of guard equipment. But the room is occupied by one guard who's just kind of laying down on her bunk, and as you come in, she sits up. It's a human woman, and she's got like a very like sharp glance as she looks at you. Like it looks like she's the type of person who has kind of like an astute perception. She kind of sits up and like you can almost see like her eyes focus on you. And she kind of gives you a look up and down and says, well, nice to see you again, Grim. Welcome back.
You could harm someone that looks like that.
She smiles a bit. Well, you know me. Can't really turn off the old eyes.
Yeah, he like nods and kind of just surveys the room and looks for what could be his bunk.
She says she points over towards the one that's got like a made up bedspread and says, "I think you're over there. You know the regular spot."
Nods, walks over there and kind of. Are there like nameplates or anything, or is it just like people know
no.
where they're sleeping and that's that?
Mhm.
Okay. So I think he'll just kind of trying to act familiar with the space and do like a little bit, maybe like just like a once around the room to see how messy things are, or like if it's like, you know, who he's dealing with now, and you know, if maybe like if something's out of place, he might like shift things around a little bit and make some discontent noises.
Yeah, this woman who's kind of now sitting up on her bed, cross-legged, watching you, says, "What you checking for?"
Just seeing who I'm working with this time.
That's a pretty good crew. Couple of regulars, couple of newbies. You know how it goes. Can you roll a deception check?
Sure. Natural 20.
Oh snap! Okay.
I am Grim Grey Mantle.
Yes. Yeah, she is watching you very closely, but like when you say that, she kind of just smiles and nods and then kind of goes back to like laying on the bed and relaxing.
And then once he gets maybe like halfway through his little walk around, he'll say, "So, anything new?"
When were you last here? I can't remember. Or at least, well, because I was off for a little while. And when was the last time we were on shift together?
Oh,
Anyways,
jeez, it's been a while, hasn't it?
yeah, I mean, at least a couple of years. But, yeah, what's new? What's new? She kind of rolls over so that she can face you, but she's still like laying down on the bed, and she props herself up a little bit. Well, I hear we got a new sergeant.
Met her on the boat.
How'd she seem?
Upset.
Yeah, I'd wondered if that might be the case. I heard some, I don't know, some weird stuff about how she got transferred here. But maybe she'll get assigned to a different shift, eh?
Maybe. We can only hope.
What else? If you just came in, you probably saw the new prisoner. There have been rumors going on about them for a little while. The old cook, retired. Finally gave in to old age and just left. But
Took long enough.
oh yeah. Apparently, though, here's the rumor. Before she left, she apparently did something a little bit foul to old Arias Greymantle's last meal that she served him. So that's what they're saying.
I don't normally like rumors, but humor me. What did you hear?
Oh, I don't really know the details, but people have been speculating like she's for everything from she spat in it to I don't know, like rat feces. So there's a lot of guesses.
Chocolate pie.
Well, guess that's one way to go out. Good thing, good thing they're not a prisoner now, huh? They must have not done anything too foul.
Yeah, I don't know if. Well, I mean, I guess it is Arias. You never know, but jailing someone for that, I mean, it's nasty for sure. But I don't know. I don't even know if he'd do that. But either way, new cook could be good.
People like to make things personal, you know.
She nods. Yeah, I think that's about all I got. I haven't been on for too much longer. Myself, a couple weeks.
Okay. So, where do you think needs the most help right now?
She kind of gives you a strange look and then points over towards the wall where there's like a board and there's some papers pinned up to it. Your shift will be on there.
Right, but where do you think? Been here for a couple of weeks now.
I mean,
the etiquette of the
things
others
are kind of running smoothly, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, she like pulls out a wicker ball and starts tossing it up in the air and catching it on her bunk.
Okay. Yeah, he'll kind of put his stuff down next to the bunk and finish doing his little round, and then walk over to the shift schedule and take a glance at it.
Yeah. So your first shift looks like it's going to be this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Guarding the prisoners as they have their lunch. So.
Okay. And can I like try and, based off what I see on the schedule, guess who she is?
Yeah, because I mean, you could see who is off duty at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like based on that, she is someone called Mirabelle.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good to me. Mirabelle.
And you can see also that she gets a lot of wall watch and tower watch duties, that sort of thing. is very frequent in her schedule.
Yeah, I think Grim will probably just keep to himself for a little bit. So how long until he has to go to his first shift?
Probably like in like a couple hours, like 2 hours or so.
Yeah, I guess once he gets his stuff kind of put away and whatever, then he'll even just start walking around, taking kind of just matching what he's studied and what like Embers has told him and stuff like that, and kind of just like putting one and one together. Getting a lay of the land a little bit.
Roll a charisma check.
Okay.
Just to sort of play your part and look like you belong.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. Yeah, as you go around, you start to see like not a lot of guards are just like up wandering around and like looking at things, but nobody seems to question you too much. And with the right nods and like the right looks at your fellow guards and things like that, you are able to pretty much walk around the main area and survey it. Is there anything you're looking for in particular?
Let's see. Just like how structured everything is, and like I said, like sort of how everything matches to what I've what we've researched, and just kind of see things for myself.
Okay. I mean, from what you can see, yeah, like everything seems to match up pretty well with Embers's drawing, the map that she drew for you.
I also want to, within this 2 hour span, that might not be enough, but also just kind of count the number of times where I think the high security area. Do I have an idea of where that might be actually? Maybe I don't.
So Shay Hexwing
that
told
was.
you.
Oh yeah, he did. There's two
ways down.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right.
Yep. One of them is supposedly in the warden's office, and
Right.
the other one is in the dragon's open roofed chamber.
That's right. So I'll just kind of count the number of times that area or those areas get accessed.
You don't see anyone go in and out of the warden's office. And in the 2 hours that you kind of watch those areas, you only occasionally see someone go in and out of the dragon's chamber. And when they do, it's always an officer.
Okay. And like, I'm trying to, like, I guess, can I get an idea of like what the protocol is? Like if they have like certain steps they take to get authorized or whatever?
Roll an insight check.
Oh man, I'm not very good at these. Like somebody I know. It's not terrible. The 13 plus. Said insight. Oh, plus 5.
Okay.
5?
That's pretty good.
Oh, because I'm proficient. That seems like a lot. So what is that?
18?
18, yes.
So what you gather from sort of the brief amount of time that you're able to watch this, and so you're not going to get a ton, even with that roll, but what you do gather is that everyone you see come and go from that sort of dragon hold area where you know the path to the high security area exists, always comes and goes in pairs. So there's always 2 officers, never just one.
Good to know. Okay.
Okay. Who do we want to shift to next? Does anyone have something they want to do?
I think the only thing I can think of is, as I have a chance, I want to take stock of what ingredients are in the kitchen, especially like what kind of herbs and plants and stuff that are being used, just in case if I wanted to, like, accidentally, say, overdose someone or give someone the runs or something, inconvenience someone.
Okay, roll a nature check then.
Sure. And I do have history of knowing plants in my background.
In fact, I will give you
Canonically.
advantage because, in particular, you know the plants of snowy regions.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Thank goodness for that advantage.
Snowy plants.
Okay, nature. So 25.
Okay. Most of the herbs and spices and things in here are probably pretty, I mean, they're pretty standard cooking fare. You're not going to be able to do anything too malicious with them. But I think every kitchen has a few things as part of the stock that could be used to give someone an upset stomach, give someone, like you said, the runs. Probably not to the extent that you could like fully poison someone
Right.
or anything like
And
that, but you've
I
got
don't
the
think
materials you need that you could inconvenience someone greatly
yeah,
if
if I needed to take someone off the map for an hour or two.
you could do it.
Okay. It's good to know.
Okay. Elwyn, you and the sous chef, whose name I can't keep all my NPCs
Harmson.
straight.
Gerald.
Harmson is the last name. Yes, Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald Harmson, get this meal prepared, and an officer, probably like a sergeant, but not Embers in her disguise, and a couple of the other guards, the lower ranking guards, come in and kind of start helping you wheel out carts, with this food over to the prisoner dining area, which is all the way over here on the east side,
Wow.
next to the guard chambers.
Great. That'll give me a nice chance to survey the prison landscape too on the way over there.
And you do get, when you pass sort of this northern stairway area, you do get that glance into sort of the central panopticon area where all the cells and the tower are. Is there anything you want to look for in particular?
Do we know where Ignis's pen is?
According to Embers' map, it was down in sort of the southeastern corner.
See. Okay. Yeah, I think I actually want to keep an eye on like what guards are on duty and what their positions are, what their like patrol routes look like.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Sure. God dang, my perception rolls have been real bad tonight for some reason. I think I rolled a 2, 3, and a 4.
Your insight's been good though, so there's that.
Thank goodness. This is a 10.
Okay. The only thing that you gather is that there are pretty much constant patrols going around the sort of inner ring hallway. And there's guards posted at pretty much every one of the like major doors and things like that. As well as these stairways down into the central courtyard that holds the cells and the tower.
I'd also like to look for any signs of rodent activity.
What was the total of your roll? Was it 10?
It was 10.
I don't think you see anything just yet.
Okay.
You can look maybe again later, but as you're kind of doing your walk, wheeling the cart, you don't see anything like that.
Okay.
Tuppence, did you want to try and go with Elwyn?
I was thinking that maybe I could have snuck on one of those carts.
You totally can. I just need a stealth check.
Could I have casted the Wind Nexus blessing thing before we got here? Everybody, like in the morning before we left?
You mean the temporary HP? You could, but you'd all be swirling with winds.
Okay.
So it's not exactly
pretty visible.
Subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, never mind then.
My stealth check was 17.
17, okay. Definitely enough to beat Gerald's passive perception. You managed to zoom into one of these carts.
Okay. So the carts are going into like a area you said with tables and chairs for feeding everybody.
And when you come into that area, you see that it is staffed by a couple of guards, but one of them is Vert in his disguise.
Did you say your stealth check was a 17?
Mm-hmm.
That meets my passive perception. So does that mean I know she's there?
Yeah, I think you'd be aware.
Yeah. Great.
Unless
Okay, so
you'd be aware.
just like, hi. Okay.
Just so I know where she's at.
Wink, wink. Okay.
Wink, wink. There is definitely not a pixie on my food cart. Pixie on my food cart makes me happy.
Okay, so if I'm in there and I see Vert, what does his uniform look like? Is there any way I could sneak into a pocket or pouch or?
So, could we have
Go ahead.
planned for this and altered some of our disguises so that Tuppence had like a little spot that she could hang out, either in like the backside of my beard or something, or like in a hat?
Yeah.
If we're wearing
I
like a
think you
wig
could
or something.
You could absolutely spend one of your points to say that each one of your disguises includes a place for Tuppence to roost and kind of hide
That is-
within the
I love it.
disguise.
Is that okay, everybody? Do you mind if we use our first flashback point
Yeah,
for that?
let's do it.
Okay. I will write that down.
So just
Aw.
for the scene, there's not going to be a roll for this one because I think this one's easy enough. But like, for the sake of the scene, where in all of your various potential places to set flashbacks did you do this preparation? Was this something you did in Amberhearth? Was it along the road while you were in Twin Towns, while you were in Fimir, on the train?
We probably did it last night because we didn't get our disguises until we got here.
Last night in Grey Barrow?
Yeah, so when we were getting sized up and fitted and stuff like that, then we probably had a discussion along the lines of, since Tuppence isn't in disguise, she's going to need a place that she can safely hang out for long periods of time. Why not in our disguises? And then with Embers' skills with Weaver's tools, she was probably able to do some fancy tricks.
So last night in the Barking Eel, you stayed up a couple hours to sew a couple secret places into each disguise.
Yep.
And
Secret pockets.
Sweet.
Secret tunnels.
So
Secret
maybe
tunnels.
as he's patrolling, I'll use Mage Hand to kind of tug on his arm or something as he passes by.
Right when I see Elwyn come in, I would have used message and sent her a message to say, just to say how's it going, and then also give her a chance to tell me if anything needs to be known.
Yeah, and I'll just say, kitchen looks fully staffed. Tuppy's in my cart.
With message, I guess I can pull the spell up. Do I need to see the? I guess can I make a perception check? If I don't, then I can just send a message.
To know the direction. Yeah, you do point in the direction though. So there's a somatic component.
Yeah, so I'll just subtly point in the direction, and then I'll send a message to Tuppence and say, if you want, I can come get you at some point.
Right. Feel like Horton hears a who. I am here. I am here. I am here.
So maybe I'm positioned such that I can walk by the cart in opposite directions, and then give Tuppence a chance to I can maybe sleight of hand get Tuppence with me, and then she can crawl into the.
Roll a sleight of hand check.
Can do. Let's see here. Sleight of hand. That is a 25.
25.
That's plus 9.
Why is your sleight of hand so good?
Because I have gloves of thievery.
That's right. As you scoop up Tuppence, you do notice that the attending officer, who's this kind of grizzled and maybe a little bit scarred human woman. She looks like she's got the marks of a sergeant. Is walking towards you, and she's kind of got a little bit of a not like a scowl, but like a furrowed brow on her face as she comes towards you.
Okay, so I'll just if she's like making eye contact with me, then I'll just stop and
you do manage to scoop up Tuppence.
Yeah, stand at attention and wait for
her. She comes over and she kind of gets a look at you and says, "Grim Greymantle.
Aye.
What were you muttering over there to yourself about?"
Just hoping I didn't have the same experience last time, Sergeant.
She kind of narrows her eyes and says, "What do you mean?"
And he leans in a little bit. There was a few times where lunch didn't sit with me very well, Sergeant. Feedback.
She
My apologies.
Yeah, I don't think you need to roll a deception check because she kind of like slowly nods and says, "Yeah, I heard the rumors about the previous cook. Rough way to exit. Rough way to exit."
Right, it was.
And she kind of gives you a look and says, "Right, well, no muttering to yourself when the prisoners are in here. They might take it as a sign of weakness, and we can't have that."
He'll do a curt nod and stand at attention and kind of survey the prisoners again.
At ease, as you were. And she dismisses you and then kind of goes back to where she can sort of survey the rest of the entire room. And with lunch set up, guards do start to bring in prisoners in like small groups of 5 at a time to kind of grab a meal off the cart and start to eat. Meanwhile, Embers, the captain, whose name I will remember, Ethra? Ethra or Etha? Ethra, isn't it?
I think it was Ethra.
Ethra, it is. Okay. Ethra comes back and finds you settled in your spot and says, "Right, I can see you've settled in well here. Are you ready for a quick tour of the high security area?"
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. And she guides you out of the officers' chambers and kind of down into the Panopticon courtyard. And then down to the south through another like big iron gate that looks like it probably has to be like cranked to open up from positions up on the top wall because otherwise it'd just be too big or heavy. Then leads you to the left through a portcullis inside of which there's like a small stable area. There's only like one horse occupying it right now, but you can see that it could probably hold several at a time. Out another portcullis, and finally into a big open to the sky stone chamber, which is this one, the Dragon Hold. And as you come into the Dragon Hold, let me find my description of this area, because there's a little bit more than what's there on the map. Here we go. Dragon's Chamber. There we go. This wide chamber has no roof and contains a spiral staircase that descends downward in the part of the room that kind of tapers to a smaller point. So this area at the back here. There is also kind of more in the center of the room, what looks like a series of metal interlocking plates. And it looks like these plates might have some means of moving. And as you kind of look around the room, you see that there's like a big lever on one of the walls that looks way too big and heavy for anyone of your size and stature to be able to manipulate. It's probably designed to be pushed by the dragon itself. And these metal plates that probably then, move aside when the lever is thrown, seem to be covering a downward vertical shaft that the dragon would presumably use to reach the high security area. But for people of your size and stature, there is a descending spiral stone staircase. And the captain ushers you in that direction.
Is the dragon here?
No.
Okay.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
We're going to switch
Follow.
maps. And I'll have to see... Did I place you on this map? No, I have not. So it should all be dark at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Let me grab your tokens so that I can... You should actually be able to see. You're going to want to be near the bottom of the map.
Yep. I see now.
Okay. You come out into a chamber that is lit by electronic lights, kind of on these stone walls. And to the left and right of you, you can see these glowing, like magical force field walls, which are projected kind of to fill the entire space of the hallway. There's one to your left that is green, and one to your right that is red. And the captain, kind of following behind you, says, "Right, this is the high security area. You need that stone I gave you. You've got it on you?"
Yes. Where do I use it?
And she gestures to the left door, and near the door, there's sort of a like a green crystal area set into the wall, and she kind of motions towards that and says, "Tap the stone against that."
Okay. Embers moves over and does so.
And then she pulls out from her pocket a red glowing stone of her own and taps it against the sort of crystal pad that you just tapped. And when she does, or when both of you have tapped there, the barrier, the green one, vanishes. And she kind of ushers you through. It doesn't stay gone for long. And she kind of hops to the other side herself.
Okay.
And now that you're through, she kind of gestures back, and as she does, the green barrier leaps to life, but you can still kind of see through it and past the red one as well. And she says, "Past the red one is Ignis's horde. We don't go that direction. You shouldn't have any need to. She's very protective of it, and if she found you in there, she would... that would be the end for you."
I've seen what you can do.
Good. So we avoid that one, right? And she kind of gestures then forward at what you can see here, which is basically a line of cells that have kind of iron bars on one side, but then solid metal walls on the other sides. And I guess they're not iron, but they're metal of some kind. And in between each of the cells, there's this like slow flowing liquid that is like greenish and bubbling. And as it bubbles, you can see maybe like a stray drop of it kind of pops off and like hits the stone of the walkway, and you hear a sizzle, and it's clearly some kind of acid. But it's not melting away at like any of the metal or anything like that. And she kind of walks you along this row of cells up to the north. So you can just kind of move that direction. And as you go, she kind of gestures and says, you can go all the way up to like the top part. She gestures and says, "Here on your left, we have mechanical workshop. I will admit I don't know the details of this, but this floor is protected by some mechanical soldiers of some kind. They're maintained in here by an artificer of sorts, but I don't know the details of that, and you shouldn't need to either. But if, heaven forbid, something should happen and one of these prisoners should get out, these constructs would deal with it, while the rest of us armed and made our way down here.
They're summoned automatically. There's nothing I need to do.
She shakes her head and says, no. That said, if you were to raise an alarm down here, they should activate at the sound of that, so...
And how would I go about doing that?
Shout. She shakes her head and says, they're actually, as far as I understand it, quite intelligent, so you shouldn't have to do much. Just make a noise, and they will come.
Yes, ma'am. I just thought so much machinery around here, maybe that there was a switch I needed to pull or something.
No, nothing so complex. And she takes you to the corner of that hallway, and she kind of gestures toward the end of, the hallway that is around the corner where there's another green force field, and says, past that barrier there is the entryway into the Warden, Arias Greymantle's office, his personal chambers. Sorry, not his office. She would say his personal chambers because his office is on the floor above. And she says, you shouldn't have any need to go through there. So I would in fact advise that you don't. But if for some reason a situation arose that you needed to, that's where you could go. And then, sorry, I'm going to move you a bit so that I don't have to describe it, but she kind of takes you back the way you came, and then around a corner the other way, where you encounter a yellowish force field. And she gestures through that and says, again, another area you shouldn't have to worry about. We have a generator in there for the electricity, and the machine that produces the acid that keeps, this separation between the cells supplied, as well as there is some control for some of the magical protections of the prison in that area. So again, an area you shouldn't have to interact with, but it's good that you know where it is. And then she takes you further up this way, and you come to a red force field, and she gestures to this one and says, now, this is an area you should not, another one you should never have to interact with. This is one that even I've never passed. And as you look in there, why don't you roll a perception check?
Okay.
Are you, Ethan, are you deliberately not showing a character model on the map?
Embers' model is showing on my map.
I can see Embers.
Oh, I can't see Embers.
Oh, that's weird. That's okay. We're near the end of the episode anyway, so we'll solve it for next time.
That's fine.
As long as you're seeing the map.
I can see the fog of war. It was kind of hard for me to track where you guys were, but from context, I think I had the map in the right place. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 19.
19. You look in, and out of the corner of your eye, you can kind of see there's like a big stone doorway in there. Which is closed and seems to be locked, like it's got a big lock on it. But interestingly, the stone room in there, there seems to be like bone inlaid in like the walls and the floor of the chamber. Very strange.
I think I would ask about it. Why? What's in there? What's the bone about?
She roll a persuasion check.
Ethan.
I know.
Just say that you're trying to recruit her like you did with Torin, and you'll get a natural 20.
No, well, it's too late for that. I got a 0.
She kind of gives you a dark look, but doesn't answer, and then moves on with the tour.
Fair.
Ooh, I just stretched Embers instead of pulling her.
Go.
Whoops. You come to the other side of that automaton workshop. And end at another yellow force field, and she says, this is the room that our interrogator works from. He's not often working down here. More often he works in his interrogation room on the main floor, but if he ever needs to interrogate some of our higher security prisoners, this is where they would be.
Mm.
And now, for the final roll of the night, could you roll a final perception check to see if you spotted anyone you're looking for in any of these cells?
I was about to ask. It's 21.
Basil Oranglass is nowhere to be seen. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. So, thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch. Thank you guys for playing. We'll be back with more of this Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you then. Bye!
Bye.
See ya.